Welcome to the deep dive. If you've been keeping an eye on crypto, 2025 is already looking pretty interesting. We've definitely seen some wild rides before. Remember those projects? Even meme coins doing like 50x, 100x returns. So today we're doing a deep dive into Polygon. It gets talked about a lot. High scalability, think thousands of transactions a second. And those super low transaction fees, near zero, basically. You might remember it as MATIC, its old name. And it's sometimes called India's coin. Interesting story there. Polygon Labs, the company behind it, was founded in Mumbai by Indian founders. Gives it a unique origin.
Right, and that origin story is interesting, but fundamentally their goal, is pretty clear. Make blockchain easier to use, more efficient. And it's not just talk. They've landed some pretty significant partnerships, big names, think Starbucks, Robinhood, even Nubank, and major DeFi apps too. They're really building out actual use cases, which, makes this deep dive really relevant for you right now.
Absolutely. So that's our mission today.
Yeah.
Let's really unpack Polygon's potential. Its price is sitting around, 20 cents right now? Could it hit $5, $10, maybe even $100? We need to look at the good stuff, the strengths, but also, crucially, the weaknesses. You need the whole picture. Let's get into it, okay? Let's start with the positives. That scalability you mentioned, it really does seem impressive.
Oh, it is. It's a key differentiator. Polygon can handle, literally thousands of transactions every second. Now, compare that to Ethereum. Ethereum is doing maybe 15, 30 transactions per second on a good day.
Wow, okay. That's a massive difference.
It's huge. And it's not just about being faster. It opens the door for applications that just wouldn't work otherwise. Think about gaming, DeFi apps with tons of interactions, social media platforms. They need that kind of throughput. Polygon delivers that.
And often, speed like that comes with high costs. But you said the fees are low. How do they manage both?
Yeah, that's the other really compelling part. The gas fees on Polygon are practically zero. We're talking cents.
Cents. Compared to Ethereum, where it can be several dollars, sometimes way more.
Exactly. During busy times, Ethereum fees can be, painful. Polygon makes it affordable. This lowers the barrier for everyone, users, developers. It encourages more activity, especially for apps needing lots of small, cheap transactions.
Okay, and what about its connection to Ethereum? It's known for being compatible. Is that purely a good thing?
Well, it's mostly a huge advantage, especially for developers. Polygon is compatible with Ethereum's smart contracts. EVM compatible. So developers can take their apps, their DeFi projects from Ethereum and move them to Polygon pretty easily. No need for a massive code rewrite.
So that speeds things up. Less friction for adoption.
Definitely. It leverages Ethereum's existing network effect and security. Now, you could argue there's a dependency there.
Right, I was wondering about that. Does it limit its independence?
It's something they're working on. They are developing their own solutions, like ZK rollups we can talk about, to become more self-sufficient over time. But yeah, right now, that compatibility is a major draw.
Okay, interesting. You also mentioned this idea of a multi-chain ecosystem.
Yeah.
It sounds like more than just one blockchain.
It is. Polygon isn't just one single chain. Think of it more like a framework.
Yeah.
A toolkit. They have their main Polygon PRS chain that uses proof of stake. Familiar stuff. But they're also pushing hard on advanced tech, like zero-knowledge Ethereum virtual machines, the ZK EVM.
Zero knowledge.
It sounds complex. What's the benefit? Yeah, it's pretty cutting-edge tech. Basically, it allows them to bundle thousands of transactions together off-chain, process them super efficiently, and then post just a tiny cryptographic proof back to Ethereum. So you get scalability and lower costs, but still anchored in Ethereum security. Plus potential privacy benefits down the line.
Okay.
And then there's the CDK, their custom chain toolkit. This lets big companies, or really any project needing it, spin up their own custom blockchain, tailored to their needs, but still connected to the Polygon ecosystem.
So it's like modular. Choose the solution that fits your project.
Exactly. Flexibility is key. POS, ZK EVM, custom chains via CDK. It's a suite of options.
With all this tech, especially the new ZK stuff, how do they handle security? You don't want to sacrifice safety for speed.
Absolutely critical question. Security is paramount. So the main POS chain relies on a network of decentralized validators to secure transactions. Pretty standard for proof of stake. But they're also layering in these newer cryptographic methods, like the ZK rollups. These ZK proofs provide very strong security guarantees mathematically, verifying transactions efficiently without needing to process every single one on the main chain. It enhances security without clogging the network.
Right, leveraging cryptography for efficiency and security. Makes sense. And we are seeing big companies jumping in. You mentioned Starbucks, Reddit, Instagram, even Jio in India. What does that signal?
It signals real-world validation. It's huge. When major enterprises, global brands choose to build on Polygon, it shows they trust the tech for scale, for cost-effectiveness, for reliability. It moves beyond just crypto speculation into actual business integration. Web3 finding its footing in the real economy. It definitely helps de-risk the perception of the platform.
That Geo example is fascinating. GeoCoin. Can you tell us more about that? It sounds massive.
It really is a potentially game-changing initiative. Reliance Industries, Jio's parent company, is enormous in India. Huge digital footprint. They partnered with Polygon Labs to launch GeoCoin. It's a rewards token built on Polygon's Layer 2 tech.
A rewards token. How does that work for users?
It's integrated right into Jio's own web browser, the Jio Spare app. So users basically earn these GeoCoins just by using the app, browsing the web, watching videos, reading articles, normal online activity.
Ah, so they're rewarding engagement on their platform using crypto, powered by Polygon.
Precisely. It introduces potentially hundreds of millions of mainstream users to blockchain rewards, maybe without them even fully realizing the underlying tech. It just works in the app.
Do users need a special wallet or anything?
Well, the coins appear directly in the GeoSpare app for now, making it seamless. But since it's built on Polygon, they'd be compatible with standard Polygon wallets like MetaMask if they were, say, withdrawn or traded later. And analysts are already talking about its future potential. Some predictions suggest if GeoCoin gets listed on exchanges, it could be worth around 27 rupees per coin.
Wow. And what could people do with them?
The vision seems to be integration across Geo's ecosystem. Mobile recharges, paying for GeoFiber internet, maybe even retail purchases within their network. It's a huge test case for Polygon's ability to handle mass consumer adoption.
Incredible. That really bridges the gap between Web3 and everyday life.
Yeah.
And you mentioned sustainability earlier, too. That's becoming increasingly important.
Yeah, Polygon has made a point of committing to carbon neutrality.
Yeah.
They've invested in offsetting their footprint and supporting greener blockchain solutions. In a space that often gets criticized for energy use, that environmental focus is definitely a plus point for them. Makes them attractive to eco-conscious partners and users.
Okay, and one last area before we move to challenges. NFTs and gaming. Seems like a natural fit given the low fees.
Absolutely. The low costs and high speed are perfect for NFTs. Minting, buying, selling it doesn't cost a fortune like it can on Ethereum. Same for play-to-earn games where you might have lots of small in-game transactions. Or metaverse applications. You see major NFT marketplaces like OpenSea having robust support for Polygon NFTs. It's definitely a stronghold for them in those sectors.
All right, so a lot of strengths there. Scalability, low fees, Ethereum compatibility, that multi-chain approach, security focus, big partnerships like Geo, sustainability, and a good fit for NFTs and gaming. It's a compelling list. But like we said, we need the full picture. No project is perfect. What are the challenges or concerns that people should be aware of with Polygon?
Right, it's crucial to look at the other side of the coin. And there are definitely things to consider. First, despite all its development, Polygon POS is still fundamentally a Layer 2 solution. It relies on Ethereum.
Meaning it's building on Ethereum, not entirely independent?
Exactly. It benefits from Ethereum's security, yes, but there's still that underlying dependency. For true long-term resilience, strengthening its own independent capabilities and adoption is key, moving further away from just being an Ethereum scaler. Then there's the decentralization aspect. While they have validators, the network isn't considered as fully decentralized as, say, Ethereum itself or Bitcoin.
Okay, so potential centralization concerns.
Yeah, it's a point of ongoing discussion in the community. For some, achieving maximum decentralization is paramount, and Polygon isn't quite there yet compared to some others. Also, that multi-solution approach we praised earlier, POS, ZK EVM, CDK, it can actually be a bit confusing.
How so?
Well, for developers, especially those newer to Web3, figuring out which Polygon solution is right for their project might be daunting. It adds complexity. Which chain, which tech stack, it can dilute the focus sometimes.
Right, the paradox of choice kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. And then the competition is just fierce, really fierce. Polygon isn't operating in a vacuum. You've got super fast, low-cost Layer 1 blockchains like Solana constantly improving. You've got other very popular Layer 2s like Arbitrum and Optimism competing directly for Ethereum scaling. Plus, new advanced ZK technologies like Starknet are emerging and gaining traction.
So being cheap and fast isn't a unique selling point anymore.
Not entirely, no. Many chains offer that now. Polygon needs to constantly innovate and differentiate itself in a very, very crowded market. And one last point, maybe more of an organizational observation, is the founder situation. Most of the original co-founders of Polygon Labs have actually left the project. There's only one founding member remaining involved day to day.
Oh, really? That seems significant.
It is something the community watches. Leadership transitions can impact direction and stability for any project.
Okay, so to recap the challenges, still technically a layer 2 dependent on Ethereum. Some decentralization questions, potential confusion from having multiple solutions, intense competition from L1s and other L2s, and founder departures.
That sums it up pretty well. So when you put it all together, Polygon clearly has potential. Those partnerships, especially with companies like Jio, are serious endorsements. The tech, particularly the ZK developments, is promising. But there's still significant work ahead. They need to keep developing the core tech, push towards greater decentralization, maybe clarify that multi-solution offering, and really carve out their unique advantage against tough competitors. It's a balancing act.
Definitely a balancing act. It seems they're walking this line between leveraging Ethereum and building their own future. So thinking about everything we've discussed, the strengths, the challenges, those big partnerships, here's a question for you listening. What do you think is the biggest unaddressed opportunity for Polygon right now? Where could they really stand out and differentiate themselves even more in this crowded crypto landscape? Something to think